I don't know if it was Hooman or Ramila who earlier said, like, any one of these questions we could spend hours talking about. We've taken like one bite out of a very large apple today. So I'm not going to hold anybody to it, but I'm gonna offer an open invitation to all four of you to come back for a parts 2, 3, 4, and beyond at some point, because there's so much to talk about and learn here. But if you're good, unless you have a hard stop right now, I'd like to offer each of you just an opportunity to give some parting thoughts, maybe to our audience, and some parting advice before we wrap things up for today. Hooman, maybe you'd like to start.
Yeah,
yes,
of course.
Sir.
I mean, I think we talked about this, we mentioned this, that this type of efforts are relatively new to our industry. And we're building the plane as we fly, right? So it's really important to have realistic expectations and understand that there is a high upfront cost. This is a long-term journey. Hopefully we'll get to see the fruits if we take the steps correctly. What I can say here is that the pacing is about the pacing, the growth of all the modeling, digital twin efforts. I think they should align with or even slightly lag behind the expansion of our processes for data generation, understanding of the processes and mechanistic phenomenon that we have, and also any kind of necessary hardware or software infrastructure. So this is really important. We cannot wait until we have everything in place so that we can start building the models, but at the same time, we need to have some of these capabilities. So pacing these two and how you pace it is really, really important. That's my basically experience that I wanted to share with everybody.
I think that's great. I agree with everything that Hooman said. One thing I will say is a lot of my experience in data science organizations across in different industries has always been that the only applications that don't get used are ones that are built in silos. So if you're looking to answer the question of who do you need to build these digital twins that are effective, include the process scientists, include the leadership team, include the manufacturing, key manufacturing personnel, include the data strategists, include a multidisciplinary team of people that can actually use their technology expertise from their own areas and avenues, in addition to having sort of a digital framework and a very, very clear use case. And I think while what Hooman says is really right, like it needs to be paced, there are things that you can start to do in absence of the large infrastructure for data. For example, have you looked at starting to understand what actually happens from a mechanistic perspective in a device? You don't need an extensive infrastructure for that perspective, right? You can start to compile some of that data-driven insights and understanding whether data follows mechanistic models. And those are kinds of questions that don't necessarily require extensive infrastructure. However, Hooman is absolutely right that everything in the infrastructure and the development of these models has to go hand in hand from the perspective of understanding organizational strategy and bringing the organizational leadership along and saying, here are the things that will make it successful from a long-term perspective.
Thank you, Shruti.
Yeah, I agree with
Yuanyuan,
I agree 100%. Yeah, I agree 100%, Shruti. So I think, yes, so, getting people involved, the SMEs, is really important. This is, somebody asked, what are the risks, how to mitigate those risks. The best thing that you can mitigate, the best way you can mitigate the risk is getting people involved, different stakeholders, especially the process experts. Because we are building digital twins or, mechanistic models, you can't build them in a silo. And, one of the, good experience that we have in Sanofi is we build these things with the SMEs in participation. We always go back and get their feedback, and doing that really ensure that we are building something for the end users, and then the sustainability is assured because they are going to use it, because it's no point building something that people will not use, right? And then also another point is getting the quality involved, or even automation involved if if you're looking into implementing or applying some of these tools in the manufacturing settings, right? So that will also mitigate the risk. One of the things I think we didn't really touch is, low-hanging fruit. What is the killer app, killer use case? One of the things that we can think about is, try to solve a problem using a digital twin, an existing problem. So my experience is the way we actually integrated the mechanistic models or digital twin into the day-to-day life is we try to solve problems that are existing problems. So there's there's automatic buy-in because you are going to solve a problem, right? And if you solve a problem and if you are successful, there's always you create a goodwill, you create a brand that you can do more out of it, right? So that's something that you need to think about. So we use mechanistic model, digital twin application or concepts around those in troubleshooting, so manufacturing troubleshooting, right? So I think something that will help when somebody is thinking about, how do I start, right? Yeah. I don't have a really use case. How do I start? This can really help. Another point, the final thoughts, if I may, to share is, we talk about regulatory landscape, what FDA thinks about it. Yes, we have to worry about it, but at the same time, we have to appreciate that, we need to appreciate this, we need to get buy-in from the regulators. But at the same time, there's enough room that we can start using digital twins, right? So it doesn't, I don't want to give that message that, we need to do everything before we start something. We need to have the quality buy-in before we start. So, this is why I bring up this troubleshooting situation. In a troubleshooting situation, which is, people are trying to solve a problem. And if it's very easier to convince everybody, including quality, to use these kind of concepts. So that's a very, very natural way to get in and get buy-in from all the stakeholders.
Yeah, that's great advice, Ramila. Thank you. Yuanyuan, last word, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I just want to say I would like kind of borrow a statement like it takes a village to kind of really kind of bring this new technology and implementing digital twins in our biopharma industry, and need a collaboration internally, multidisciplinary team and the change management and a collaboration across the industry, collaboration with the vendors, and also work with the FDA closely, and kind of really anything new, there will be resistant, and how to use those risk-based framework, no matter what you are doing, validation or life cycle maintenance, and checking out the kind of the wisdoms that our industry kind of trying to put together. I think that's kind of we will keep in exchange ideas, sharing experience, and help everybody along the journey.
Awesome. Thank you, Yuanyuan. Thank you, all four of you. Shruti, Yuanyuan, Ramila, Hooman, you guys are awesome. This was a fantastic discussion, generated a ton of questions from our audience. Thank you to the audience for the questions that you've shared. I apologize that we didn't get to all of them. We got to a lot of them. You guys did a really fantastic job. I asked a lot of you. You probably didn't realize when you agreed to do this panel, just how fast and furious it was going to come. But you all handled it deftly, and I really appreciate you coming on. And my invitation to come back will stand in perpetuity.
I think it's been a really exciting panel discussion. Thank you so much, Matt. I'd be happy to come back anytime.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, careful what you sign up for.
No, but I mean, the discussion has been really exciting at many different levels, and I think it's totally worthwhile to have these discussions as the industry evolves. So definitely happy to be there.
Perfect. As far as our audience is concerned, mark your calendars for February 4th at 11 a.m. If you're into biosimilars, we're going to have a conversation with a panel of biosimilars experts, including Celltrion's VP of Medical Affairs, Dr. Hital Patel, Biocon VP of Regulatory Affairs, Raja Vanga, and Biosimilar Forum Executive Director, Juliana Reed. It's another Cytiva-sponsored talk on biosims market and manufacturing strategy. So mark your calendars for that. We'll be promoting the heck out of it in the coming weeks, so I'm sure you'll see about it. In the meantime, stay dialed into our programming at bioprocessonline.com, and be sure to follow us on LinkedIn so you don't miss a beat. Thanks again, and have a great week.